if you want to be a breeder. It's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It's something that's got to really be in your heart. If you decide that you're going to be a breeder, things are not going to just work out the way that you expect automatically from the beginning. I remember when I first started, it started off with having a deep love for dogs. So if you love dogs, that's something that is going to be easy for you. Whatever you decide to do for your career, your passion for your life, to build your legacy or whatever you decide to do, it definitely got to be something that you love. And with these dogs, you might get started early. You might have some great success. You'll be one of the rare cases because in the beginning, it's tough. Unless you have somebody that's over you, that's already coming before you, that got started before you and is passing the game down to you, then it's easy. But most of us, we don't have somebody that we start out looking for pets. And my love for the dogs come from my first dog. I told y'all about him. His name is Bear, a golden retriever chow chow. And for me, the dog, it was the companionship. I like being able to just hang out with my boy. He went everywhere with me, like off leash. You know, he was just a neighborhood dog. And so that built my love for dogs as a boy. Bear was like a cool dog because he had that chow chow in him. You know, the chow chow is like the Chinese hunting dog. And then the retriever, you know, was the calm and happy. So it was a really nice blend for where we lived at and in the city and the circumstances that we was coming up in, because the dog wasn't ultra aggressive. He was just balanced, nice and balanced. I told you that my dog had got beat up a few times. He was out running the streets and got beat up, came back home. I felt bad about that. So I started looking into other dogs and I wanted to get a dog that could hold it down for himself. So I looked into the pit bull and I wanted to have a pit bull so bad I couldn't get another dog because I was told we had a dog, and if I wanted another dog, I had to wait till I got grown and on my own house, my own rules, and then I could have my own dog. As many dogs as I want was what I was told when I get grown and on my own. But as a boy, I wanted a dog so bad, I kept the dog with my friend, and we would go. We wanted to see all of the pit bulls, and this was our first introduction to dog breeding. We would look in the classified section and go check out dogs, and it gave us an idea of all the different styles and setups, different kind of dogs and way people were doing dogs. We ended up with the pit bull and we found one that was close. I love this dog so much. We kept the dog at my homeboy's house, and he was a little pit bull. His name was Crook, and he was a terrorist. I mean, we had this dog shaking up everything. He was like with us all the time. A couple days later, and the dog was gone. We didn't know what happened. We was looking for the dog everywhere. We went across the street looking for the dog. The dog was gone. We were told the dog was stolen. So I was crushed. I mean, devastated. Remember how long I wanted this dog? I wanted this dog for a long time, and he was gone. I didn't want another pit bull. No pit bull could replace Crook. I told you I started looking at the Molosser breeds, and this was going to be the dog for me. I looked at the Cane Corso. That was the dog that I started out first. And the Cane Corso is a little bit different than a South African Boerboel. They have quite a bit more protection instincts. These dogs, the Cane Corso, is also got more herding instincts, and the dogs were a tad bit aggressive. My dog had like 13 bites. She was a good dog, though. She was one of the best dogs. She really was appropriate for the time and the stage of our lives that we were living in the area that we were living in. And you need to understand that the laws relevant to the dogs, especially in your neighborhood or your municipality, because they're different in every municipality. So how I end up with the Boerboel was, I said to myself, this Cane Corso, she biting. You know, everybody, I tell people that come to my house, visitors, hey man, the dog bite, because I'm not putting the dog up. You know, just don't touch the dog. That was like my thing. Don't touch the dog. She'll come around to you, but she will still bite you. And people would try to pet her, and then they would get bit. So she had like 13 bites. I told myself, I can't do this with no male Cane Corso. So we start looking at the Boerboels. What I really like about this breed is the companionship factor. I like the idea that the Boerboel didn't have the herding instincts. It didn't have a fighting background, right? And understanding that, I felt that was more appropriate for me in the urban life, in the urban setting, where I'm going to be having a lot of visitors, got a lot of family that comes by, because I did intend on very early on from a boy, I wanted to have puppies and stuff. This was before I became a father. I mean, when I had the dogs, I just decided to import a dog. And this is part of the reason that I do the show, is for everybody else that may be like me and maybe looking for some guidance or looking for some direction with the breed. You know, you don't have a point of reference or you don't know where to start. So I import my dog, fell in love with the breed. This is an ideal dog to have for breeding, for the city life, the lifestyle that we live. They're very loving and compassionate, and perfect for me. So if you're gonna be a breeder, you gotta find out what fits into your life and what dog breed is one that's gonna be perfect for you. Because I'm gonna tell you something, starting off in the game with these dogs, don't expect to make no money. You know, you just basically a pet owner for many, many years. You're gonna be investing in your dogs. You're gonna be trying to take good care of them. And if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, you know, you're gonna take a lot of losses in terms of monetary losses, because you got to take care of your dog every single day. I mean, you got to buy a stud dog if you're gonna breed dogs, or you're gonna pay for a stud fee if you don't have one. You also need a female if you're gonna consider yourself a breeder. So then you're gonna have to feed both dogs or whatever, all the way up until then. And from a business standpoint, you know, you're losing, and you got to be able to sustain that. And a lot of times people look at it as a losing an investment, and you might not ever make your money back. So that's why I say you got to love this dog thing. It's not about money. You know, you got to remember that you're trying to develop something that is going to be very different, something that's going to stand the test of time. That's my goal as a breeder. I'm trying to have a dog, my own bloodline. My bloodline is going to last. It's going to outlast me and my legacy. I want to put a stamp in the game because I love dogs. I want to be responsible for having the ultimate dog that was ever produced of all dogs in the history. Now, this is going to be very important for people that's breeding dogs. You got to get along with your neighbors, or you got to find some kind of common ground to balance, because your dog's going to be barking and your dog's going to be doing all kinds of things. Some people just don't like dogs. Dog is not a human being. Some people don't have no respect for human beings, so they're going to have less respect for the dog. I done had dogs shot before. I done had two dogs poisoned before. I done had the neighbors call the police on me over 1 million times, probably. Okay, I don't know how many times. And you gotta keep your head cool. You understand? These are the things that you're gonna go through as a breeder. And then on top of all of that, in the very beginning, you ain't selling no dogs. Don't nobody know who you are. Don't nobody even respect your name or your game. Just because you got some dogs, they not automatically gonna sell. So you're gonna go through some tough times. It's really gonna test your mettle. You might have a litter of puppies and all of the puppies die. What you gonna do if your mom don't have no milk? You gonna cry? You can't cry. You gotta keep on pushing. And that's what happens with this dog game. Then, if you finally stick with it, you get to a point where you're not where I'm at now. Last month, I had 13,000 incoming calls. You're gonna have to deal with calls. You're gonna have to be an internet. I'm not no broadcaster. I'm not no this is real. I'm not no TV show. I ain't got no history in this. You're gonna have to be a videographer and a photographer. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to be operating a website, Facebook marketing, social media marketing. You're gonna have to do all of these things. 13,000 phone calls. And I pray for this. This gonna test you. And it gotta be something that you're really into. Your heart gotta be into it. Because at the end of the day, you might not be able to depend on nobody else but yourself. And it's nobody else's responsibility but your own.
No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you gotta do a run up. No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and now you gotta do a run up. Whole gang, whole man, old school, young jam.